I just got this call from my portfolio manager, Now, we agreed that we wouldn't make any calls. I'm not going for none of your dirty dealing stuff. I see how things originally laid out right here, and nothing's changed, Now, if there's something that's going for worse or whatever, then, physically, you're here, and you're telling me. Don't bother calling me. Because we've already got that pre-written. If something does happen that goes for the lesser, and you did not show here personally and give a warning, then, buddy, I hope to find you dead, because if I don't, you will be thereafter. That was in the written first part too, remember? Yeah. Say the oxygen's rushing out. Okay. Flares from the sun hitting us. The way they're hitting us weakens our magnetic fields and they get in a little deeper. And, it shows like there's kind of a squish thing going on. It's not just, like our poles, north and south, how the energy, it's a squish that we get from those things. And it squishes our atmosphere. And it draws it out in a long tapered, kind of to a point after the ball, Just think of the airflow by a ball on both sides to a cone shape out to a point. But there's, when it gets drugged like this, there's still this magnetism in here holding it. It's still holding it, so it's blasting out. But the magnetism is still holding it in that type of cone, long cone-shaped stratosphere that it is in. And it's filtering it. It's filtering the air. Because what returns, is also a force, after being pushed out, pushed against, just like the sun flares, pushes in. This is pushing, coming back and pushing this way, and it squeezes. And throughout this squish, on the sides, because it's round, the top of the earth, and it's squishing around like this, and this is coming back, squishing like this, where they meet, and you see when storms meet, there's no getting inside the earth, inside of that ball, so it's got to go out. It squeezes out, and that's when it catches that solar burst, and it drags it on down and by, and this filters it. And, it says, take it on its oxygen. Well, it's like the earth regenerates itself. It knows how to do that, and it cleanses itself. I think it's amazing. It's just not even a word even close to the things that happen on this earth, that it does just with being here. And the things in the lifetime that it's shared. There's so many. But along with this oxygen that's getting squished out that they're worried about, and I said, but along with the highly contaminated oxygen we now breathe, I can see a filtration system built into our planet. It also cleans the air we all breathe, as well as regenerating itself. Just hoping to see exactly how the air moves into the system. Could it's possibly not just out in one, like the poles, how they're out, the poles, except they're, a little tilted more now, whatever, but they can't move out like that in just straight lines, being opposite. It's all the same. It's just like, it'd be like a fountain. That earth air and the upper atmosphere is pushed against these CMEs, and when it comes up and it goes around from the bottom of the earth up, and it meets this energy, and like it just pushes out like, and all of it's from the inside is things that's that's where that cleansing gets to be. Then it gets swept out. It goes down that channel and it's held back in. I mean, if there's something that's pretty negative and bad, I imagine it just gets boom, gone out, But then it still regenerates itself. So it's just like a fountain, like a ball, an open ball and closing on another ball, a little, smaller, and the water that would run out all over the edges of it. It's coming out like that. And you need to know exactly, how the system, how deep it gets down to the oxygen that we need. I mean, this is all happening in the upper atmosphere, but how does it make for picking up the oxygen that we all breathe down here to cleanse that? Because it's really making a freaking monkey-ass mess, It needs to be cleaned because of the governments of the planet Earth. They've been exploring the extent of the damage they can cause by atomic and nuclear radiation tests on and first in the Earth's stratosphere. Imagine what this is doing. The Earth has got this cleansing thing going on. It's an automatic system, working. And these, what are these? They would explode something and it just blasts up in the stratosphere. I mean, something just is close to the heat of the sun. Why would you do that, You're screwing up things. What are you trying to do? It's almost like you're saying there's people here that are trying to get out, Or maybe they're trying to get more in. I mean, you just don't know. That's off somewhere that I've read, but still, why would you do that? And then the first one before they set it off said, hey, seriously, it's like, we're in this room full of oxygen, a lot of oxygen, It's a higher content. And it's flammable. And you spark off this little match, anything. It all lights up. Well, when you flip that switch today on that atomic bomb test in Nevada, well, that's exactly what that's going to do. Because it's going to be so hot. Even low-grade oxygen is not really that flammable mixed. It's going to go. We breathe that stuff. And furthermore, I think that, and here comes this gun in the back of his head, well, we got cut off there. I'm sorry. He had a splitting headache. And we called Dr. Dexter out, and he'll take care of it in his own way. People are dying again as in the past. When will you ever learn the future that can change for good? And the good I'm talking is like supposed to be the will of that Father. Whoever that will, that omnipotent being, the Creator, because it can go beyond even that. Because things just are not like what we think they are. Could ever learn the future that can change by knowing the truths in the past. The deepest hell and damnation to all church organizations that have, who you are, and kept secret, who you are, kept secret the past, who you are, just so they, who you are, can control the future of all on this planet. Ha! Not any longer. That's a word that's out. I said it. Let that be a Christ that said it. Because I'm not afraid. What's there to be afraid of, really? When I come back again, I will be even greater. To where this will and could never happen. Churches, you should all be ashamed. Every one. And you know, the Catholics, they've just bullshitted so many people all over. Just because the people they bullshit doesn't know the bullshit. And they want to believe in something. And they prey on that. They prey on that. They have truths. They have history. They have past, books, literature, clay tablets, however it was written back in those days. And, you know, back in the days, those people, you wouldn't waste, would you sit here and, you know, something for the future, and you sit here and lie about it? You know, this is all the paper I have right here. And I have to say this. Do you think I'm really going to sit here and lie? I'm going to waste this paper? Well, that's not even a human. The people in Rome, those controllers there, the governments, those people weren't human. And you know, they got into the New Testament and they helped write it. Taking those books and they've taken things out. They've left things in where they think, well, this will probably support it right here. This should be enough. If you're reading Psalms, just start reading Psalms. And you can get into it where it flows. And there's a rhythm. And there's an understanding. Read it back over again, you know, not the whole thing. Just start over again after a few sentences, you know, whatever, a page. Go back, do it again a couple times, and go back and then try it again, and then try to go through the whole thing this time. And you'll get to a point to where that doesn't work. You can't feel that rhythm and that rhyme and that time and the words that are being spoken, because that's when the Romans set in and they found these books, these writings, and they tried to rearrange things, and they did. I just had a thought now. What if I go back and get the Psalms and read it backwards? No, I'm not talking about that kind of backwards. Start at the end and just read it like a book. Just like other languages, when they go from we read from the left, they read from the right. So maybe that's their kind of thinking when they were finishing up that book. Just a thought that just come to me. And I don't mind sharing. I'm going to go read that, just see, read some other things right now too. I'm more curious about that. I got this Geneva Bible here. It goes way back. About 6 centuries, you know. Let's see what it says. It's not to be negative. But there's some things that we just need to know to protect ourselves. And these people only want to protect themselves and their control and all that money they get for nothing. But spreading their manure. Yeah, it's time when the horn sounded and all the walls came tumbling down. Peace out.